I want to show how to make the pizza dough. We will be making pizza next week, but the entire pizza making process is over 2 hours. Okay, so one important thing that we need for pizza making is yeast. There are various different kinds of yeast. There is something called as active. The most prominent one is the dry yeast. A lot of people use active. Lot of people, I mean, the restaurants and everything use the live yeast, and that is not recommended for home cooking because you have to be extremely careful. So I would prefer that you use like the dry yeast here. I will also share this in the group. There are different kinds of active dry yeast. So you have the traditional one, which is called the active dry yeast. You'll also have something called as the instant yeast, and sometimes you might get a yeast called as the pizza crust yeast. Okay. Now, traditionally speaking, this the active dry yeast is is how people usually used to make the pizza dough with, right? So once you mix so you have to make sure that you activate this yeast even before you can mix it with the dough. But the rest of the yeasts, like the instant yeast and the pizza crust yeast, you could actually add them to the dough and then add the milk, and then you can start mixing them. So I'm going to show you how to make with the active dry yeast today, but it doesn't hurt even the other types of yeast. You could just follow the same recipe that you do with the active dry yeast, because it's okay if we put them in a liquid even before adding them to the solids. Okay, so the first thing you would need is 1 cup of milk. I have 1 cup of milk, any type of milk, so I had only the 2% milk today. So 1 cup of milk needs to be slightly warmed up to the milk. So the dry yeast is inactive. You have to activate the yeast, and yeast will start growing. So when it's basically feeding on sugar. So you need to add sugar to your milk, about 1 teaspoon of sugar to this milk, which is about, mine is about 105 degrees. I'm going to add the active dry yeast. Then I'm going to give it a nice stir. So yeast needs 2 things. One is warm temperature, and the second one is sugar. Both of these are needed for the yeast to activate. Now I've mixed this. I'm going to leave this aside for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. I'm going to use all-purpose flour today. Okay. You can mix this with, either wheat flour, or you can mix it with, half wheat and half white flour. So what we're going to do first, we need to add 2.5 cups of flour. So this is first cup. Second cup. And then half a cup measure. So I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We are going to add some seasoning to this all-purpose flour. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oregano. I'm going to add some chili flakes. then I'm going to add some garlic powder. If you don't have garlic powder at home, you can skip this. Then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And then give it a nice mix. Added like a powder and it became like really puffy. So now this is when you need to take your dough here. You need to add the yeast. And start kneading the dough. A little bit water. So what you could do is, just to make this smooth, always when you do a dough, either whether be it a pizza or a pasta dough, you need to add a little bit of oil to make your dough a little smoother. You would see an immediate difference. The minute you add the oil, you would find your dough to be extremely smooth. Okay, so that's your pizza dough. So this is what we need to do, okay? Once you do the dough, once you finish the dough, you have to cling wrap it. So you would see that your entire dough will double. So make sure you cling wrap it and leave it out for at least 2 hours. So next Sunday, before you come for the 4 o'clock class, by 2 o'clock, you should have prepared this dough. All of you with me? So then I'll show you how to make the pizza. So this, and store it in a warm place. Do not put it in the fridge. So it has to be in a warm place. So keep it next to your stove or no, not in the stove. You don't have to heat it up. So just put it.
No, just in the stove.
Yeah, so just keep it next to the stove.